We just hit our 1 millionth listen on this podcast.
Crazy. I know it's crazy that people would want to listen to us that many times.
It's pretty insane. I'm looking at the stats right now. We first released an episode January 7th, 2020.
Okay.
I kind of want to talk about just like the history of how this all happened. We started recording in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Do you remember when I can't believe I'm going to say this on air, but I will anyway. You came up with the name Two Bees in a Pod, right? And so we did it. I think you know where I'm going with this. We were releasing episodes and we're like, two bees in a pod, two bees in a pod, two bees in a pod. And after like a month or two, we realized that there was another podcast called Two Bees in a Pod. And we're like, well, what are we going to do? And that's where we did the Two Bees in a Podcast.
And it worked.
And it worked, and we haven't changed it since.
Yeah, when we first started, the timing was interesting. I'd been wanting to do a podcast, even before you joined us at the lab, and I'd been trying to kind of talk it up and figuring out how to do it. And when you got here, you were willing to do it, and we started recording in late 2019, thinking we needed to put together a library. So when we start releasing in 2020, we'd have kind of a stockpile of episodes because it's kind of hard to do, right? We record when you and I are both in the office. We record every Wednesday morning. We record 2 interviews, usually Wednesday morning at 10 and 11 o'clock Eastern time. And then you and I get together outside of that and do some Q&As to throw on there. And then our podcast coordinator sticks it together. But all of that's work. And there are times you aren't in the office or I'm not in the office or you and I are both not in the office or there's other things happening. Building up a stockpile of episodes is important. And then we started releasing in January of 2020. And what happened 2 months later, right?
Yeah.
What was the thing?
COVID happened.
COVID happened. And it just like coincided perfectly with COVID because you and I both had to go to our respective homes. I remember recording podcasts from our respective closets to try to get the sound right.
I know.
It was crazy. Those were crazy days. But, here we are. It's July 2025. That puts us about 5.5 years later. So in 5.5 years, we've had our millionth listen, and that's just crazy.
I know. It's absolutely insane. And, it's been kind of fun for those listeners that have been with us from the very beginning. They've seen this podcast transition, right? We've seen it where we were just we still are trying to figure things out, but we had 2 guests. And, the one thing that's been consistent, I think, through this whole thing is that we've had 3 questions in every single episode. Isn't that insane? How many questions is that?
Over 200 episodes for sure.
Yeah.
Right? So that means we tried to do different questions. So that means we've dealt with over 600 different questions throughout the current life of the podcast. That's crazy if you think about it.
I know. And now I'm like reminiscing about all the past segments we had. We had the 5-minute management, right? And then was the 5-minute management the one where I set a timer? Because I know for like an entire year.
Yeah, you tried to set a timer.
I set a timer. You always went over. That was fun. And then we kind of transitioned to 1 guest and then a Q&A segment. And I don't know.
Making money with bees. I remember that series.
Making money with bees, international
beekeeping around the world.
It's just, we're really excited. We're here to celebrate our 1 millionth listen. It's a huge milestone. Of course, we would not have been able to do that without the support of the listeners that are out there.
People have to listen. Otherwise, there's no need to make a podcast, right? And so it's funny because podcasts are so different from a lot of other media. You can write stuff people can read so they only see your name. Videos, they see you and hear your voice. The podcast, they only hear your voice. And, when we travel around the world, we were listened to by beekeepers in over 70 countries. We travel around the world. People might hear us, but not recognize us. But because they've never seen us, but they hear us and they go, oh my gosh, I know that voice. Where do I know that voice? And listeners, we just have to thank you literally 1 million times over for all of the interest that you've shown, for the questions that you've submitted, for the hours and hours and hours that you've listened to me and Amy ramble on about bees. And it's just been great. It's really been great. So thank you so much for all of your support over the years. We do it for you guys. There's no, professional benefit for us, except that we just get to have cool conversations with cool people all around the world. So yeah, it's for you, our listeners. And we want to thank you for making this millionth listen possible.
Absolutely. I'm ready for the next million. So let's keep it up.